Okay, picture this. You're right in the middle of a really tough situation, maybe feeling totally swamped, or, that anger is just bubbling up, about to boil over, and your first instinct, maybe it's to snap or pull back or just completely shut down.
Right, that immediate reaction.
Yeah. But what if right then you could just hit pause, really understand that feeling, give it a bit of space, and then actually choose how to respond? Choose something that serves you, your goals, not just pure instinct.
That is such a powerful idea, and it's exactly what we're diving into today. It's not about pushing emotions away or pretending they aren't there, which I think is a common misunderstanding.
Definitely.
It's really about cultivating this deep understanding of them, seeing every feeling, even the really uncomfortable ones, not as like a problem you need to fix, but as information. Vital data, really.
Like an internal compass.
Precisely, guiding you toward what you genuinely care about, helping you live a richer, more, meaningful life.
Okay, so this whole deep dive is centered on emotional agility. It's a concept really changing how we think about handling our inner worlds, how we respond to, everything life throws at us. We're going to unpack how you can build this skill using insights from psychology, from mental well-being practices, helping you shift from feeling stuck to really moving forward.
Let's do it.
So emotional agility, what is it really at its heart? The term was popularized by psychologist Susan David, right? And her focus is on using feelings as information, not trying to wrestle them into submission or change them.
Exactly. It's a subtle shift, but a really profound one. And it's interesting because in other areas of psychology, particularly acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, you hear the term psychological flexibility. And it's essentially the same core principle. We're not trying to sort emotions into good and bad piles and just chase the good ones. The aim is to actually use whatever comes up, accept it as it is, so it can genuinely inform what you do next.
That really reframes things, doesn't it? So how is this different from emotional intelligence, or EI? That's a term most people have probably heard. EI seems more focused on the social side, like empathy, communicating well with others.
Yes, EI definitely leans more into those social skills. And there's overlap for sure. Like people who are better at accepting difficult feelings often do show higher emotional intelligence.
Makes sense.
But emotional agility really zooms in on your internal world, how you use your own emotions to live in line with your own values, navigate your own path. It's maybe more about your personal compass than your social radar, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And that brings us right to something very human. Avoidance. Why do our brains seem so geared towards dodging uncomfortable feelings? I remember hearing this story. I think it was a therapist talking about his training at the VA.
Oh.
Yeah, a patient just got up and left mid-session, totally overwhelmed. And the therapist felt like he'd failed.
Oh, that's tough. And yeah, very understandable for both of them. The supervisor's explanation was probably spot on. Our brains are just fundamentally wired to avoid pain. It's a basic survival mechanism.
Protective.
Exactly. It keeps us safe from real threats. The trouble starts when that system gets a bit overzealous. It starts trying to protect us from everyday thoughts or feelings that are just uncomfortable, not actually dangerous. The instinct goes into overdrive.
And that's the real kicker, isn't it? It's not always the feeling itself that causes the biggest problem. Often it's the constant effort to push it away, to get rid of it, that ends up creating more pain and actually limiting our lives in the long run.
Absolutely. That struggle is the suffering much of the time.
So if avoidance is kind of baked into our design, how does it show up, day to day? What are these traps we fall into, maybe without even noticing?
Oh, they're everywhere. We all do it. I mean, think about it. Ever put off a big project? Procrastination.
Guilty.
That's often avoidance. Or delaying that awkward conversation, needs to happen. Avoidance again, even, those New Year's resolutions that fizzle out by February, often that's avoiding the discomfort of the effort or the change involved. Our brain's just trying to keep us in the safe zone.
So what does it look like specifically? Are there different kinds?
Yeah, we can break it down. There's behavioral avoidance. That's the stuff you do or don't do, like not making eye contact, quickly changing the subject, skipping appointments, or even using substances to numb out.
Okay.
Then there's emotional avoidance. That might be someone saying they feel bad, but struggling to name the actual feeling, or maybe defaulting to anger when sadness or fear is underneath.
Or masking it.
Exactly. And finally, cognitive avoidance. This is all mental, like describing thoughts when asked about feelings, overanalyzing everything into the ground, rationalizing, or even that kind of forced toxic positivity where you just refuse to acknowledge anything difficult.
Wow, okay. And the downside of all this avoiding, it really can make our world smaller, can't it? That analogy of the overprotective helicopter mother comes to mind. If our brain is constantly yelling, don't go out there, we stay home, metaphorically speaking.
It's such a good analogy. Because you miss out. You miss interactions, chances to learn, opportunities to grow. If you're always scanning for danger, always hypervigilant about uncomfortable feelings, you limit connection.
And you never learn that you can actually handle it.
Precisely. You never get the evidence through experience that maybe the thing you fear won't happen, or if it does, that you actually do have the resilience to cope. Avoidance keeps you from facing the fear, so you never really move past it.
Okay, but sometimes distraction feels necessary, right? Like when you're just completely flooded, overwhelmed. Is it okay to distract yourself then? Is that different from this problematic avoidance?
That's a really important distinction. Yes, distraction can be a useful tool. It's like a temporary timeout when emotions are just too high, too dysregulating to deal with directly right then. You might need a moment to calm down, to self-soothe.
Okay.
The key word there is temporary. It becomes avoidance if it's your only strategy. If you always distract and never circle back to actually process or deal with the difficult feeling, then you never get resolution. You don't learn anything.
So how can you tell? Is there like a quick rule of thumb to know if something, even something that seems healthy, is actually avoidance?
Yeah, there's a helpful sort of shortcut rule. Ask yourself, what's the purpose of this behavior right now? If the main intention, honestly, is to not feel a painful or difficult emotion, it's likely serving as avoidance.
Wow.
Take reframing thoughts, for example. Generally is seen as healthy, right?
Yeah.
But if you jump immediately to reframing the second an anxious thought pops up, specifically so you don't have to feel the anxiety, then even that useful technique is being used to avoid the feeling itself. It's the why behind the action.
That clears things up a lot. Okay, so if we know about these avoidance traps, how do we start shifting things? How do we actually build this emotional agility? Susan David outlines 4 steps, and you mentioned they tie into ACT principles.
Yes, they map really nicely. The first step is showing up. This is basically just noticing.
Yep.
Recognizing your thoughts, your feelings, your urges, your body sensations without slapping a judgment on them. It is what it is in that moment.
No right or wrong feeling.
Exactly. In ACT, this is mindfulness. Paying attention with openness, curiosity, flexibility. The core instruction is simply notice X. So practically, you'd try to clearly label the thought, there's the I'm not good enough thought again. Describe the feeling with more detail than just bad. Maybe use a feelings wheel or a list and really drop into your body. Where do you feel it? Is it heavy, sharp, tight? Getting specific and getting out of your head and into your present experience.
Okay, that makes sense. Which leads to the second step, stepping out. This sounds like creating some distance.
It is. It's about separating yourself from your thoughts and feelings, realizing they are experiences passing through you, not the definition of who you are. You're not the storm. You're the sky holding the storm. You're not the roller coaster. You're the person riding it, observing the ups and downs.
I like that.
In ACT, this is called diffusion. Learning to just watch your thinking rather than getting tangled up in it.
Yeah.
A simple trick is adding the phrase, I'm having the thought that, before the actual thought. So instead of I'm a failure, it's I'm having the thought that I'm a failure.
Creates instant distance.
It does. Or you could try saying the thought in a silly voice or singing it. This sounds daft, but it really highlights the thought as just words, just sounds your word machine mind is producing.
Yeah.
You start to see your mind as maybe a don't get killed machine, always scanning, or radio doom and gloom, just broadcasting. You observe it, you don't have to automatically buy into everything it sells you.
Okay, so you show up, you step out. What's next?
The third step is walking your why. This is crucial. It's about connecting those insights you gain from your emotions back to your core values and goals. Asking yourself, okay, given this feeling or thought, and given what truly matters to me, what's the next step? How does this feeling inform action that aligns with my values?
So bringing in your personal compass again.
Exactly. And this links directly to values clarification in ACT. Values aren't goals you achieve, like get a promotion. They're more like desired qualities of how you want to be on an ongoing basis, like being courageous or compassionate or curious. They're the direction, the compass point. Values come first, then you set goals that help you move in that valued direction.
How do you figure those out?
There are great exercises, like the sweet spot, recalling a time you felt truly alive and exploring what values were present. Or the bullseye, where you map how your current actions in different areas work, relationships, health, leisure, line up with your stated values in those areas. It helps you see where you are and where you want to go.
Got it. And the final step.
Moving on. This is about taking action, making those small, sometimes tiny but intentional shifts towards your values, changing habits, maybe approaching situations differently based on what you've learned from your emotions. Your feelings guide you towards what needs adjusting.
So it's not just about understanding, it's about doing.
Absolutely. This is committed action in ACT, taking deliberate steps, even small ones, to do things that move you towards a richer, more meaningful life, even when difficult thoughts or feelings are present. There's a model called the choice point, which is really helpful visually. Imagine a fork in the road. You can move away from discomfort, which often leads you away from your values too, or you can choose to move towards what matters, even if it means bringing some discomfort along for the ride. It clarifies that choice point we face moment by moment.
These steps seem really powerful for navigating our own internal stuff. But this idea of emotional competence, it stretches beyond just us, right? Into our relationships, how we deal with other people.
Oh, absolutely. It's huge. Emotional competence involves recognizing emotions, yours and theirs, pausing before reacting automatically, trying to understand the why behind the feelings, and then communicating with that awareness. Think about how anger plays out. I heard a story from a nurse.
Yeah.
She'd shouted at a worried parent and later realized the parent was then too scared of her to share crucial information about the child. Her reaction shut down communication. Or, imagine a colleague yelling at you publicly. It completely changes the dynamic, erodes trust instantly.
Yeah, that shouting example, it often feels like anger is, well, maybe covering something else up, like fear or maybe insecurity.
Very often. Anger can feel safer or more powerful to express than vulnerability or fear, can't it? So it becomes a mask. And insecurity, that's a huge driver of poor communication, blaming, withdrawing, maybe lying, not making eye contact. When you feel insecure, your focus shifts inward to self-protection, and you can misinterpret things, listen poorly, react defensively. It really blocks genuine connection.
So how do we apply these agility principles in those tricky interpersonal moments? How do we manage emotions better with others?
It comes back to similar steps, really. First, recognize the emotions. What are you feeling? What might they be feeling? Get curious. Then, acknowledge what's happening. Sort of. Put your antenna out. Try to understand the situation non-judgmentally. The key step is step back. Pause that knee-jerk reaction. Analyze why these emotions might be showing up for everyone involved. What's underneath?
Find the reason.
Find the reason, or at least be curious about it. And then act with awareness. Maybe that means taking a break to calm down yourself. Maybe it means talking it through with someone objective first. Maybe it means taking care of your own feelings before jumping into problem solving. And fundamentally, focusing on creating safety, showing respect, expressing appreciation. These build trust and make difficult conversations possible.
And throughout all of this, dealing with difficult feelings, whether our own or in reaction to others, self-compassion seems incredibly important.
It's absolutely vital. Self-compassion is about offering yourself that same support and understanding you'd naturally give to a friend who's suffering, whether that suffering comes from a mistake you made, feeling inadequate, or just life being hard.
Treating yourself kindly.
Treating yourself kindly, recognizing that struggling is part of being human, you're not alone in it, and bringing mindful awareness to your pain without getting swept away by it. There are even simple physical things like the 4-7-8 breath. Breathe in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. Just a few rounds can really calm your nervous system. It's so crucial for things like burnout, for just basic mental and physical well-being.
So, pulling this all together then, the big takeaway seems to be that emotions aren't the enemy. They're not good or bad. They're just data.
Precisely. They are information. Think about our ancestors' fear saw the saber-toothed tiger information, spurred action. Our emotions today still give us vital data about what's happening inside us and around us. And the amazing thing is, our human design is resilient. We actually have the inner strength to face difficult feelings. Learning to navigate them with this agility lets us grow stronger, genuinely wiser from all our experiences.
That's a hopeful note.
Yeah.
So wrapping up our deep dive today, emotional agility is really about accepting your feelings as valuable data, noticing them without judgment, stepping back so they don't run the show, connecting them to what you truly care about, your values, and then taking action, moving towards those values, even when it's uncomfortable.
And it's a practice, right? Like learning guitar, you don't master it overnight. You practice, you get more flexible, more skilled over time.
Exactly. It's a continuous journey.
Indeed. A journey of self-discovery and really empowerment. So maybe a thought to leave you with today. Pick one emotion you tend to push away or avoid, just one, and ask yourself, gently, curiously, What information might this feeling be trying to offer me? What might it be telling me about what I care about? Or what might need to shift in my life?
That's a great question to ponder. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into emotional agility. We really encourage you to keep exploring your own inner landscape with curiosity and, well, courage.